Keywords. Pet Pok É Mon. I haven't watched any animations or special episodes, so it doesn't affect my consumption, dear. A talented student, for unknown reasons, travels to this world where elves have infinite possibilities. This world that only exists in animations. Unfortunately, as the protagonist, he still couldn't escape the orphan rule of the protagonist's law. Fortunately, he has a portable chip that may not be useful, but it's better than not having one. Combined with my own efforts, luck, and knowledge, I am fortunate enough to live in this world. A trainer who doesn't make money is not a good trainer. Numbers won't deceive you, so the more money you spend, the stronger your Pok É Mon will be. There is no elf that cannot be cultivated. If not, it means you haven't spent enough. Some people still think that cultivating an elf doesn't cost money, don't they? I have a mind that can be raised by Kira. The protagonist is either making money or on the way to making money. The introduction is weak. After reading the text, you can go to the book circle to complain about the problems. There are explanations for the price problems. You can read the testimonies. Keywords of the novel. Pok É Mon. Trainer starts from the bounty hunter without pop-ups. Pok É Mon. Trainer starts from the bounty hunter. Download the complete TXT collection. Pok É Mon. Trainer starts from the bounty hunter. Read the latest chapters. Chapter 1. Mercenaries in the Evergreen Forest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Mercenaries in the Evergreen Forest. Chongpan City is located in the western part of the Guandu region. Its name means eternal green, surrounded by foothills and forests. The origin comes from the Evergreen Forest, which is adjacent to the world of Pok É Mon and has the largest area, variety, and quantity of Pok É Mon. If Hualan City, also known as Guandu City, attracts a variety of tourists with its beautiful scenery and water performances, then Jinhuang City has developed thanks to the reputation of Empress Supernatural and a prosperous commercial atmosphere. So what attracts the most people in Chongpan City is the various resources in the boundless Green Sea. Regardless of the potential profits from capturing and selling elves and elven eggs at the risk of breaking the law, the benefits of collecting various excellent medicinal herbs from the Evergreen Forest alone are already enough to make people envious. Not to mention every year, there are rumors that lucky children who have obtained heavenly and earthly treasures such as miracle seeds that can permanently enhance the power of Pok É Mon moves during adventures and become wealthy overnight. This has led to an endless stream of people coming to explore the Evergreen Forest every year, not only trainers, but also bounty hunters. Don't misunderstand, the bounty hunters mentioned here are not goods like the notorious Hunter J, they are all registered with legitimate unions. Of course, every group inevitably has some scum, but people like bounty hunters, who are known as those who want money but don't want their lives, give people a particularly strong feeling. Every year, countless people die from the dangers inherent in this beautiful forest in Chongpan Forest. At this moment, in a deserted corner of the Chongpan Forest, a brown-haired boy about 1.8 meters tall was running wildly in the forest. The handsome face was mixed with various emotions of joy, excitement, and fear, even appearing somewhat ferocious. As the young man ran, he couldn't help but turn his head and look back, only to see several black and yellow flying shadows in the air flying rapidly through the forest. Fei Ying's small body was full of strength, constantly approaching the boy at an incredible speed. The wind blowing from its wings caused the passing branches and leaves to sway continuously. As the distance approached, I gradually saw the appearance of the flying shadow clearly. It is similar to the yellow tiger-headed bee, but it only has 4 legs instead of 6. The body is divided into 3 sections, with a round head, a pointed mouth, 2 antennae, and all 4 legs attached to the abdomen. The tail is yellow and black, with toxic needles growing at the end. Long and slender feet, with large and thick white needles on both hands. There are 2 pairs of wings on the back, with intricate patterns on the wings. This is the big needle bee in the Chongpan Forest that makes people turn pale upon hearing it. The irritable giant hornet has a strong sense of territory, and anyone who invades their territory will rise up in groups. If it weren't for encountering a foolish novice who knows nothing about the world and the world, who accidentally attacked Iron Shell Kun, causing most of the large needle bees in this tribe to seek revenge against that trainer, I would probably have avoided this tribe and dared not take action as before. The handsome young man Yumuja also ran away frantically, revealing a bitter smile when he heard the sound of the wings of the big hornet constantly vibrating behind him. But then a hint of determination flashed in his eyes. Although it was a last-minute intention, he was extremely familiar with this place. Moreover, during such a long escape, he gradually found a way to escape the pursuit of most of the large hornets, leaving only the last 3. And as soon as he thought about the benefits after this incident, Jia's face immediately regained calmness and confidence. Looking up at the bird's shadow in front of him, who was flying rapidly with him, Jia also calculated the time and distance and shouted towards the sky. Bibi bird, use blow fly against the big hornet again. The bird's shadow in the air heard the sound of Jia, and flexibly turned a corner in the air, flying straight in the air. Its wings quickly fanned to form a stream of air flowing towards the large hornet behind it. The body of the giant hornet sways continuously with the blowing of the airflow, and its speed slows down rapidly. It is about to be separated by Jia and run away. Jia also saw that not only did he not escape quickly, but he turned around and continued to command the Bibi bird. Continue to use the fresh wind and increase the intensity. Bibi bird, who also had a deep understanding with Jia, immediately knew what he was going to do as soon as he spoke. He changed his moves and threw a more powerful blow with his wings. Just now, the wind, which was just an airflow, immediately turned into a gust of strong wind, sweeping towards the hornet. The body of the hornet became completely uncontrollable. After all, although the wings of insects can support them to fly very quickly, the force given by the wings to fly in the face of the strong wind blown by bird sprites is still too small. 3 large hornets were all blown upside down, losing their balance and being blown away and hitting the trunk of a tree. One of the large hornets, whose body was already scarred, lost its combat ability on the spot, while the other 2 struggled to get up. Use a flash of lightning to completely solve those 2 large hornets, Jia calmly issued the order. The Bibi bird quickly approached the enemy in the air, and a faint light flashed on its body during the flight. Then, its speed suddenly increased and it collided with 2 large hornets one after another. The newly risen hornets were immediately knocked away by the Bibi bird's attack and crashed directly into the tree trunk, losing their combat ability. Well done. Jia also praised from afar. The Bibi bird let out a cry in response to Jia's admiration, and then landed next to its lute, panting to tidy up its messy feathers after a long battle. Jia also walked quickly to the side of the 3 fainting hornets, opened his backpack, took out thick gloves, and carefully collected their tail needles. Although all 3 needles on the body of the giant hornet are venomous, only the venomous needle on the tail is the most toxic, and buyers in the market often only purchase the tail needle. Although the price is not high, even the smallest mosquito is still meat. Jia also carefully stored the poisonous needle and put it in his backpack. It's hard for you, Bibi bird. Jia also smiled at the Bibi bird who was on guard after finishing its feathers, and took out a bottle of medicine spray from his bag. Upon seeing this, Bibi bird also waved its wings and landed beside Jia. Jia also gently sprinkled medicine on the injured wounds of Bibi bird and fed him an orange fruit to restore his strength. Alright, we can prepare to go back now. After spraying the medicine, Jia also breathed a sigh of relief. But this is just a simple treatment. To ensure that there are no sequelae of injuries, it is still necessary to return to Joey at the Pok É Mon Center in Joban City for treatment. Jia also took the Bibi bird back to the Poké Ball, observed the surrounding environment, and quickly left in one direction. Behind them, 3 large needle bees with their tail needles removed are still unconscious. What will happen to them? Perhaps it was being able to wake up and fly away in time, regrow new tail needles after several months of cultivation, or perhaps it was being eaten by the elves who heard the sound, but this had nothing to do with Jia. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. The Magical World and Outsiders. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. The magical world and outsiders also walked effortlessly on the forest road opened by the Alliance, where there were few people and a gentle breeze brushing his face, making Zhe's already good mood even more enjoyable. It's not surprising why there are no trainers on safe roads. After all, the Elf Alliance regularly releases tasks to clear the elves 2 kilometers around the road to ensure smooth traffic. In this situation, over time, there will be no elves approaching here, let alone any gains. Trainers come to Changban Forest for adventure, either to make money or to hone themselves, and of course, they will not follow the main path. In addition, there is a famous saying in the elf world. True trainers are people who constantly explore new paths in the primitive forest. So it's not surprising that people are rare. But this has nothing to do with Zhe. Watching the beautiful sunset, Zhe also tightened his space backpack behind him, accelerating his pace back to Changban City. Changban City Pok É Mon Center. The prompt sound of the ding-dong elf watch rings. Zhe quickly walked up to the treatment table and showed Joey his Alliance ID card. Hello Yumu trainer, your Bibi bird has recovered its health. Please take your Pokemon ball. Joey confirmed his identity with the machine and said to Zhe with a professional smile. Zhe also sincerely thanked him and immediately left with the Pokemon ball. It's not that Zhe is also very polite, one is indeed out of gratitude to the healing elves, and the other is that no one wants to offend the Joey family. Although most Joey is very understanding, even a slight lack of politeness won't do you any good. But if one day you make Joey feel like you're not a qualified and good trainer, congratulations, you won't be able to enjoy any services from Pok É Mon centers throughout the entire Alliance. Not only for treatment, but also for accepting and submitting many tasks, as well as registering for regional conferences, and even official forums and transactions, you cannot proceed. Of course, there seem to be only a few people like this in the history of the Alliance so far, so there's no need to worry too much. Zhe also carried his bag and strolled alone in the bustling architectural complex, feeling lonely and out of place in his heart. In the blink of an eye, I have been in this world for 16 years, and Zhe also sighed. In his previous life, he was just an ordinary person. When he woke up, he found himself transported to this magical world, which in his memory was a place in the world of animation. And he also became a baby, just like the poor guy in the novel who was thrown at the entrance of the welfare home. The only fortunate thing is that the society and technology in this world are exceptionally advanced compared to their past lives, so welfare work is also done quite well. When each orphan grows up to around 3 years old in the welfare institution, the Alliance will send people to specifically teach the most basic literacy skills. After mastering them, they can go to school to learn basic knowledge. After passing the basic knowledge exam, depending on the level of excellence, orphans can choose different subjects to study, which is further advanced education. The cost of being excellent is only 1,000 Alliance coins per person per subject, of course, only a maximum of 3 subjects. Zhe is precisely such an outstanding talent, or in other words, even more outstanding than this. Perhaps due to the enhanced rebirth of the soul, in the previous life, Zhe was not considered a highly intelligent genius, but in this life, Zhe can even achieve an exaggerated level of unforgettable learning. That's exactly why, coupled with the fact that the Alliance only requires passing exams, Zhe also completed literacy and basic knowledge learning at the age of 7, which is 3 years ahead of the normal person's progress of 10 years old. Not to mention Zhe Ye's exceptionally outstanding performance, the Alliance waved its big hand, and in consideration of Zhe Ye's talent, it directly exempted Zhe Yi from the cost of choosing 3 advanced education courses, which was a total of 3,000 Alliance coins. For Zhe Yi, who was still a child at that time, it was simply a huge sum of money. So Zhe is also grateful to the Alliance in his heart. After all, he relied on the knowledge of these 3 professions to survive in this world until now. Elvism, pharmacology, and tree fruit studies were the topics that Zhe Yi chose to study back then. Since he left the welfare home at the age of 12, he has relied on the first two to survive and gradually improve his life in the Evergreen forest. Don't think this is an exaggeration. It takes a full 4 years for a normal person to study a subject, and it's just barely passing the exam. And Je also spent 5 years mastering all 3 subjects, achieving excellent results. At that time, the teachers at the Alliance School also believed that he could develop towards the direction of an elf scholar in the future. However, Je was also very aware that as an orphan, even if he became an elf scholar, he was likely to have no research results for many years and could not support himself in the end. Therefore, he chose to pursue a career that pays quickly. Thinking of this, Je also stopped and looked up at the large characters above the gate. The Bounty Hunter Center. Je also smiled and walked in step. Trading Desk 2. Je also waited in line for a while, the queue was not long, and soon it was his turn. The staff member remained expressionless and said, "Please place the items you want to sell on the table in front of you." Je is also very familiar with this process, and before the staff could finish speaking, he took out the things from his backpack. The tail needles of 5 giant hornets are priced at 2,000 Alliance coins per unit, totaling 10,000 Alliance coins. The snake molting of the Aberdeen snake, unfortunately not Aberdeen monster, is worth 50 Alliance coins per gram, which is 620 grams, totaling 3.1 million Alliance coins. Surprisingly, there's honey from the giant hornet. You're really brave and lucky. It's worth 1,000 Alliance coins per gram. There's 421 grams here, totaling 42.1 million Alliance coins, which adds up to 46.2 million Alliance coins compared to the previous 2. The staff proficiently quoted the price and sighed. Je also listened to the staff's quotation. Although he had been prepared for it early on, the generous profits this time still surprised him very much. Je, who was waiting for the staff to transfer the income, took the ID card handed over by the staff, and casually gave a positive review, also left the trading office. Walking to the task hall, Je also came to a machine with a red and white elf ball printed on it. Code name. Mercenary, submit task, code 573677400. Je also inserted his Alliance ID card into the slot on the machine. A photo of Je immediately appeared on the machine screen. Next to him was his bounty hunter code name Mercenary, as well as his completion of this mission. A red light swept over. Identity confirmation. Code name Mercenary, task number 573677400. Please place the items required for the task at the entrance below. This line of text immediately appeared on the machine screen. Je also took out a bunch of herbs from his backpack, which was his target star grass for this mission. It grew sporadically in areas where grass-type Pok É Mon were densely distributed, and the picking difficulty was moderate, but it took a long time. Moreover, the amount required by the task publisher was also quite high. Put it into the storage compartment below, and the machine will automatically cover it. Under detection, newcomers new book, much support, thank you. Seeking recommended tickets and collections, end of this chapter. Chapter 3. The Golden Finger and Reality. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. The Golden Finger and Reality, test passed, confirmed task completion. Your difficulty level for this task is C, with a 100% completion rate and a profit of 50,000 Alliance coins, after tax. It has been credited to your identity card. You have completed a total of 0S.level tasks, 0A.level tasks, 1B.level task, 42C.level tasks, 132D.level tasks, and 201E.level and below tasks. Currently, the hunter level is C. The machine quickly flashed through the text. Je also didn't take it seriously. After confirming that the income had been received, he pulled out his identity card and left the hunter hall. First, I went to the department store to buy some elf food and daily necessities. Je also spent 50 Union coins to take a Diduli special car back to his small villa located in the suburbs of Joban City, with several common fruit trees planted behind it. Changpan City is located near the Changpan Forest, with a vast area and sparse population. Although the housing prices in the city center are not low, the housing prices in the suburbs are quite ordinary. Moreover, the housing prices in the city center are actually just like that. After all, most adventurous trainers and hunters do not stay regularly, and the accommodation in the elf center is enough. At least Zhe has also seen that the value of his small villa in the suburbs is similar to the price of a toilet in Jinhuang City. When converted to the city center of Changpan, which is a very small single bungalow, it is outrageous. It's not difficult to understand. After all, there are still occasional elves running out of the Evergreen forest, and irritable elves can even enter the house to attack humans. So most people still prefer to live in the city center. At least there won't be such troubles and dangers. But Zhe doesn't care. After all, he is also somewhat of a trainer, and dealing with these issues is still easy. When you get home, first release the Bibi bird and pour a portion of the food that the bird sprites love into its exclusive bowl. Then, add the secret recipe food that Zhe Yi has prepared himself, and finally place a bowl of milk from a large milk can next to it. Watching Bibi bird start eating first, Zhe also walked into the bathroom and started taking a shower. After taking a shower, Zhe also wiped his head and walked out of the bathroom. He saw that Zhe, who was naked, had scars left by these years all over his body. The 8-pack abdominal muscles and strong biceps on the arms indicate Zhe's excellent physical fitness. Seeing Bibi bird having finished dinner and freely moving around in the backyard, Zhe also sat down on the sofa, silently reciting, 0, open the panel of Bibi bird. As his mind changed, data and reports quickly entered his mind, and a blue panel that only he could see appeared in Zheya's field of vision. Bibi bird category. Bird Pok É Mon attribute. General/flight height. 1.3 m, average of 1.1 m, weight. 36 kilograms, average of 30 kilograms, feature. Sharp gaze. Thanks to the sharp gaze, the hit rate will not be reduced. Hidden feature. Strong chest muscles, not affected by reduced defense, and spirits with this feature will be stronger than their peers. Skills. Impact, cry, peck, sand picking, wind rising, lightning flashing, flying, feather dancing, high speed movement, tornado, genetic, level. 33, elite, potential. Heavenly King cultivation plan. It is recommended to conduct targeted reinforcement training on the wings of the Pok É Mon, massage and relax after weight training. Specific techniques are as follows: suggest enhancing reaction speed, supplemented with nerve agents. Formula as follows: 20g Shanshan grass, suggests strengthening bone strength, supplemented by a bone strengthening recipe, with the following formula: 10g of karaoke stick bone, 20g of milk in a large milk can. Looking at the data provided by 0, Zhe's eyes lit up. Bibi bird's level had increased by 1 level compared to yesterday. Although level does not fully represent strength, it can accurately reflect the current state of the elf. Zhe also doesn't know what level the next level of the quasi-heavenly king will be displayed on the panel. Currently, he only knows that below level 5 is a young student, levels 5.15 are beginners, levels 15.30 are ordinary, and above level 30, his Bibi bird becomes an elite. Based on the situation of this arithmetic sequence, the quasi-heavenly king must be at least level 45 or above, with a high probability of level 50 as a watershed. Zhe also doesn't know how many levels a Bibi bird will evolve normally. Based on his experience and learned knowledge, his Bibi bird will definitely evolve into a Bibi eagle if it reaches a maximum panel level of 3 or 4 levels. Zhe also had an idea and closed the panel, starting to eat the dinner he brought back. 0 is a byproduct of Zhe's journey into this world. Although Zhe doesn't know exactly what's going on, it must be related to the intelligent computer chip implanted in his own brain in his past life. It may be that the chip and soul merged into one during the time and space shuttle. Zhe also had no idea that he had traveled with a chip. Until he was 11 years old, a sudden sound of energy full, starting to start, sounded in his mind. He instinctively called out the name of his previous life's smart chip number 0, and this panel appeared. Je also found that as long as he observed an elf in his field of vision, the panel would automatically display the above information, including the cultivation plan, which was simply based on his own knowledge integration. So for wild elves and elf eggs, 0 can only determine the approximate level and potential, and cannot provide further plans, because Je has not had a further understanding. Unless one becomes their own elf and is carefully cultivated with complete data, 0 can only provide more specific plans and mastery of skills. This was also enough to make Je at that time overjoyed. The Pok É Mon world relies on creatures like Pok É Mon, with various professions such as researchers, cultivators, trainers, and so on. There are also various small classifications, among which advanced trainers are the desired profession for everyone. 0 undoubtedly can help him become an excellent trainer and cultivator. As long as he can learn enough knowledge, even if he is not clear about how to operate, 0 can still provide the most reasonable advice. The level display allows him to clearly grasp the progress of his elf strength, potential allows him to select outstanding elves, and cultivation plans are the basis for his strength. Unfortunately, it all requires money. Je also gave a bitter smile. Although Je has earned a lot of money in the 4 years he came out to live with his own abilities, unfortunately, he only earns a drop in the bucket when it comes to cultivating elves. Je also looked at the Bibi bird outside the door. At first, Je also realized that when he had a golden finger, he thought he was the center of the world, and his thoughts were all focused on getting off to the right start. But soon he calmed down. Not to mention being precise, he couldn't even get the Imperial 3 families sent by the Alliance's legitimate lineage, and he probably couldn't even obtain a slightly inferior little elf egg. After all, in this world where strength is paramount, a talented elf has a great chance of creating an excellent trainer. The reason why quasi-gods are so sought after is not because each type of quasi-god cub has evolved to the final form after cultivation, and can at least reach the level of quasi-heavenly king. Most will eventually become heavenly kings, while a few with exceptional talents have the opportunity to compete for the championship throne. This leads to powerful quasi-god cubs being held in the hands of the ruling class in this world, and even if quasi-god eggs appear in the black market, the price is still unimaginable for Je now. As for the Yuuzhan family, they are the small elves sent to their own legitimate lineage in each region along with the elf guidebook. The basic requirement is to pay a fee of 50,000 yuan per year for 10 consecutive years. It is not realistic for Zhiyi to take out the family members, as they are all senior members of the Alliance. Collection request, fixed update at 8:30 p.m. 520 happy. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Memories. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Memories. The 3 main attributes of the Yuuzhangia are water, fire, and grass, with different species in different regions. Kanto is home to the little fire dragon, Johnny Turtle, and Bulbasaur seeds, all of which have undergone 3 stages of evolution and have extremely high potential. In addition, the Alliance will have a dedicated person to identify the general qualifications. Among the 3 royal families in the hands of the legitimate novice trainers, none of them have outstanding qualifications and mild personalities. It is not a problem to cultivate them well and reach the quasi-heavenly king. In the black market, the price of a Yuuzhan egg is not as expensive as that of a quasi-god egg. After all, not every talent is outstanding. However, even so, the market price of an Yuuzhan egg is still above 2,000 million Alliance coins. This price is simply staggering. You should know that as of yesterday, including the money spent, Je has only earned over 450 million Alliance coins in the past 4 years. I only spent 80,000 Alliance coins to buy this villa, and most of the remaining money was invested in cultivating Bibi birds. Even so, Je has cultivated Bibi for over a year and has only recently entered the elite, although it is related to Je's lack of money in slow foundation for Bibi. Je also fell into memories. Jia's first Pok É Mon was not the current Bibi bird, but a little Lotta. After all, Je, who has just entered society, only has a scholarship from the Alliance .10000 Alliance coins. Although it is enough for him to live for a period of time and find a job based on his own abilities, to become a trainer, to put it bluntly, this amount of money is not the same. Even the cheapest elf eggs in the black market, even those of green caterpillars, require a high price of 50,000 Alliance coins. Even if most of the hatched green caterpillars cannot evolve, their combat power is about 0. The captured wild green caterpillars can be placed in the Poké Ball for only 10,000 Alliance coins, but such green caterpillars do not even have a chance to gamble their lives and cannot evolve. If it could evolve into an armored pupa, it wouldn't be so cheap. After all, if it could evolve, it would have evolved long ago in terms of the growth cycle of insect-type elves. Je is also unwilling. In this world, only becoming a trainer can give him a chance to change his fate, let alone his golden finger. So Je also risked his life and entered the Changban forest alone, wanting to take a gamble. As long as he finds an elf egg on his own, no matter what his qualifications are, Je is confident in overcoming the initial difficulties. Fortunately, after experiencing the tragic events of being chased by unicorns and being driven away by green caterpillars, Je also found an egg left by Lotta, although his qualifications were only ordinary and he could not evolve into Lotta. After hatching little Lotta in Changpan City, Je did not have the ability to cultivate little Lotta according to the plan given by Zero, but he did his best to take care of it. When little Lotta passed her childhood, Je registered as a bounty hunter and began her journey of making money. Naming herself a mercenary also left a memory of the world in her previous life. Although the income was not high and it was difficult, during the 2 years of adventure, Je and Lotta gradually accumulated some money together. However, unexpected circumstances arose, and during an adventure, Je and Lotta encountered a group of fierce sparrows. In that battle, although Je also survived, only level 18 little Lotta still couldn't escape the clutches of the large army's fierce sparrow. Je is also very sad. But even if the elf dies, it cannot be resurrected unless the Phoenix King is found. How could this be possible? So Je had no choice but to go to the black market and prepare to rely on his knowledge and the abilities of Zero to choose a talented elf to start cultivating again. The black market, as the name suggests, is a market in the dark that is not recognized by the Alliance on the surface. After all, the regulations of the Alliance clearly prohibit the trading of elves, including elf eggs. But in this world, as long as the interests are significant enough, many people are willing to take risks, so the black market emerged. Gradually, the black market grew larger and larger, becoming an unwritten dark zone. Although the Alliance did not support it, it also tacitly allowed its existence, because only in this way can the lowest level of talent have a glimmer of hope. Je also walked in the black market, covering his figure with a black robe, and the people around him were all in the same posture. Walking to a stall selling common elf eggs such as green caterpillars, unicorns, and Bobo, Je looked at the vendor in the same black robe and asked, "How do you sell Bobo's elf eggs?" The vendor was not surprised to hear Je's slightly immature voice. After all, there were too many people like him. He said calmly, "The black market has a unified price of 250,000 yuan. Je was not surprised, nor did he feel that the vendor was deceiving him. As he said, the pricing of this ordinary Pok É Mon egg in the entire black market is uniform, and asking the price is just confirming it again. Although Bobo is not strong and has a gentle personality that is not suitable for intense battles, he has evolved as many times as the Imperial 3 families. In the end, his appearance is not only handsome but also powerful. If it weren't for the fact that most Bobo have lower qualifications, evolving into a Bibi bird would be 1 in 1,000 miles, and ultimately evolving into a Bibi eagle would be even more rare. The price of Bobo eggs would have been much higher. Je also seemed to casually choose a Pok É Mon egg and put it in his bag. He took out a pre-prepared anonymous savings card and gave it to the vendor, which was considered as completing the transaction. Je also turned around and left. The vendor didn't take it seriously and confirmed the accuracy of the money in the card before continuing to wait for the next customer. Although he noticed that Ja seemed to be very casual, he carefully looked at all of his Bobo eggs before making a selection. However, he did not feel that killing an egg produced by a tribe led by Bibi bird could produce any good elves. Moreover, there is no instrument in this world that can determine the qualifications of Pok É Mon in eggs. The most powerful qualification appraisers simply judge qualifications based on the development, hair, and blood of young Pok É Mon. Not to mention children who can easily identify themselves as civilians. How could the vendor have thought that Ja also had something called Zero that didn't belong to this world? Jaye's heart was racing wildly, but he was still in the black market. He could only forcibly suppress his excitement and walked back to his rental house at a faster pace than a normal person. Returning to the rental room, Ja could no longer conceal his excitement and took out the elf egg, shouting wildly in his heart. Zero, open the panel of the elf egg in front of me. The blue panel immediately opened, and Jaya's attention was tightly focused on the potential line. The two characters displayed above are the Heavenly King. This is the Heavenly King, and Ja almost couldn't help but shout out. You should know that in the previous 2 years of adventures, Ja also saw that the highest qualifications of wild elves were only elites, and he had never even seen a quasi-Heavenly King. Ja also never expected that going to the black market under helplessness would give him such a big surprise. Yuanbunja also plans to spend a large portion of his savings to buy a decent Pok É Mon egg, such as a mountain-penetrating mouse. Choosing an elite talent can also evolve into a mountain-penetrating king, making him a relatively good Pok É Mon. Leave some more money for cultivation, and Ja also has sufficient confidence to develop. But who knew that as soon as he entered the black market, Ja realized that this Bobo egg had the potential to be at the level of a king. Ja couldn't believe his eyes at the time, and even thought that there might be something wrong with Zero. I usually choose the elf name that I think sounds good rather than the official one, and the name de Bai Niao still has a lot of personal feelings compared to Bai Diao. 521 Happy. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Excellent Waves and Evolutionary Stones. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Excellent Waves and Evolutionary Stones. But in the past 3 years, the judgment of Zero has never had any problems, and Zero is based on his own knowledge system. Even if he is wrong, this wave is at least infinitely close to the Heavenly King and has the qualification of a quasi-Heavenly King. And this can also provide more funds to cultivate elves. Ja also made a decisive move and bought this Bobo egg back. Moreover, the subsequent growth of Bobo also proved that Zero's judgment should not have been wrong, as its strength and physique are more outstanding compared to those of its peers. After Ja also hatched Bobo, he carefully cultivated Bobo with his own savings according to the nurturing plan given by Zero during his infancy. Quickly, Bobo passed his infancy and entered the ranks of novice elves. At this point, Bobo has mastered the impact, barking, sanding, and inherited tornadoes, with even more outstanding hidden characteristics to strengthen the chest muscles. This is probably also why this wave has the potential of a king on the Zero panel. Tornado is a move with dragon attributes, and Ja also believes that it may be due to the combination of a powerful Pok É Mon with a Bibi bird or a Bibi eagle that does not know which type of dragon attribute gave birth to it, resulting in mastering the tornado and having a stronger physical fitness and potential. Most likely, it was Bibi bird, because at that time the vendor probably couldn't beat Bibi eagle and its population. Moreover, under the cultivation of Jie's science and the influence of excellent qualifications, Bobo's body size is clearly one circle larger than its peers. But Zhou was not in a hurry to venture into the forest and complete the mission. After all, although he had spent over 300,000 yuan in savings, he had also saved around 55,000 yuan in alliance coins over the past 2 years. There will be less than 250,000 left, which is enough for him to cultivate Bobo for a period of time. Little Lotta's experience told him to be careful before he had enough strength, and it was unlikely that he would encounter another ordinary elf with such high qualifications. So Je also trains and fights Bobo at most in safe areas on the edge. Until Bobo reached level 15, officially breaking away from novice elves and entering ordinary elves, Je also looked at his remaining savings before gritting his teeth and officially deciding to continue to the Bounty Hunter Guild to take on tasks. Even so, Je tried his best to restrain himself from taking relatively advanced tasks to obtain high profits, but chose to do the simplest E-level tasks first, and decided to wait until the evolution of Bobo before taking the higher level D-level tasks. Quickly, in about a month's time, Bobo evolved into a Bibi bird during training, and his level also rose to level 18. Je also gave up on the E-level mission because the benefits were too small. The standard reward for an E-level task is below 3,000 alliance coins, while a D-level task becomes 3,000.3 W, a C-level task is 3,000.10 W, and a B-level task is 10.50 W. Je is also unaware of A-level and S-level tasks because he has not seen them before, possibly due to insufficient trainer level and hunter permissions. Generally speaking, doing a regular D-level task can earn at least 10,000 yuan or more in income, with at least 7 or 8 top-level E-level tasks, let alone C-level tasks. Je and Bibi Bird began their true life as bounty hunters. Je also came to his senses. Considering the aptitude of the Heavenly King of Bibi Bird, as he initially struggled with strength and money and did not have much resources for Bibi Bird, the progress of Bibi Bird's strength after evolution was very slow for a period of time. Of course, it is only relatively speaking, and compared to similar developments, it can be said that progress has been very fast. Until later on, Bibi Niao gradually became stronger and could complete a small number of C-level tasks. It was not until then that Bibi Niao's strength began to rapidly increase with a large investment from Jia, and he also mastered more and more skills. Even so, according to the previous process, Jia estimates that it will take at least half a year for the evolution of the equal ratio bird to become the eagle and be able to enter the quasi-heavenly king until today. Je couldn't help but burst into laughter at the thought of his gains today. Just the tasks and additional benefits, he made a whopping 51.2 million on this adventure. After deducting the money for purchasing things, he still had 50 million left, which is almost his normal income for 2 months. Not to mention the thing in his backpack, Je's eyes flashed with a hint of warmth. Walking upstairs into the study, Je carefully took out his biggest gain from his backpack. A bright orange-yellow stone with a faint flame symbol on it. It is the rare evolutionary stone. Fire Stone. The panel provided by Zero shows that its quality is 89 points, and it should be noted that the best perfect fire stone is only 100 points in quality. This is quite valuable. Je also recalled the purchase post he saw on the Elf forum, where a typical fire stone was purchased for 2,000 million yuan by someone, and the market was priceless. Not to mention the extremely high-quality fire stone in his hand, Je also estimates that his evolutionary stone can sell for a high price of at least 400,000 alliance coins or more. You should know that fire-type elves are quite powerful. Using the energy contained in the fire stone can help the elves absorb and quickly and stably enhance their fire-type energy, making them stronger. Not to mention that six-tailed and Katy dogs still need fire stones to evolve, making high-quality fire stones even more popular. After all, wind dogs and nine-tailed dogs are both handsome, powerful, and elegant, with strong strength, making them the first choice for wealthy people. Although I don't know why there was this thing inside the nest of the giant hornet, when Je also discovered it, he almost fainted with surprise. Je was also prepared to follow the usual thinking of hunters and prepare to grab some honey before running away, after seeing a silly trainer provoke a swarm of large needle bees, making the guard power of the nest extremely weak. After all, hunters who share their experiences on forums come across such new trainers every year and make a profit. It's not surprising to encounter one in 4 years. The honey of the big needle bee is a necessary raw material for high-quality beauty and whitening cosmetics, and can also be used as a supplement. It is loved by wealthy women and has a high market price. Unexpectedly, during the process of collecting honey, Zhe also discovered that there was actually a fire stone inside the nest. This was not an unexpected joy, it was simply a windfall. But how to deal with this fire stone is also a problem. Although Zhe also wants to keep it by his side and prepare in advance for cultivating his own fire-type Pok É Mon in the future. However, Zhe also anticipated that the fire-type Pok É Mon of his main team would be either Flame Chicken or Spitfire Dragon, evolving with the Unfire Stone. It's not a bad idea to use it to quickly enhance your strength, but it seems a bit too luxurious, and besides, you don't have the money to get these two types of elf eggs for now. Unless he sells the fire stone and finds a way to buy an egg of a fire chick or a small fire dragon from the black market, preferably one with excellent qualifications. Anyway, Zhe also has a 0 number to distinguish. That is to say, he can only choose between the fire stone and the eggs of the fire chicken or the little fire dragon at present. Of course, using fire stone evolution techniques such as Katy dogs is also good, but wild Katy dogs are extremely rare and are known as legendary Pok É Mon, most of which are controlled by the Junsa family. If you are a commoner, after obtaining the Katy dog, the Junsa family will ask if you are willing to join them. This is also what many people pursue, after all, entering the Junsha and Joey families, understanding everything. Undoubtedly, for him, this is still an unattainable dream for the time being, no matter what. Zhe also hesitated for a moment, not knowing how to make a choice. The pace in the early stage is slow, which is also an unavoidable thing. We will gradually work harder and more. Today, at 4400, end of this chapter. Chapter 6. Selection and Elf Props. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Selection and Elf Props. Zhe also thought for a while and decided to put up the fire stone first. After all, he is not in a hurry to make the final decision in this short period of time. Whether it's keeping the stone of fire as the main force for the future to accelerate its strength, choose to slowly save money to purchase the Pok É Mon egg. Or sell the fire stone and choose a good enough elf, then slowly save money to cultivate and fulfill its potential. The difference is actually not particularly obvious. Now Zhe's primary goal is to strive to enhance the strength of Bibi bird, at least by evolving into Bibi Jiao first. Coincidentally, there is additional income today that can be invested in the cultivation of comparative birds. After the evolution of the equal ratio bird into the comparison eagle, Zhe also has enough confidence to complete difficult C.level tasks, and can even challenge B.level tasks. Cultivating the next elf will also make it less difficult. When it comes to dealing with this fire stone, you won't have to worry about not being able to sell it. Zhe also packed the fire stone and put it close to his clothes in his pocket. Zhe dare not put such valuable things in the safe at home, who knows if thieves will come to steal them. Not to mention wandering elves like Meow Meow are skilled at stealing things. Then, Zhe opened his elf computer and prepared to ride the water before bedtime. No, it was to learn from the experience sharing of trainers on the forum. After all, some excellent trainers will post their battle videos on forums for young trainers to learn from. Of course, there is a fee system, and the price varies depending on the level of trainer. But the minimum requirement is to reach the level of a quasi-king, which means that trainers with 3 or more quasi-king elves will have access to such services on the forum. Let's put the video aside for now and watch it later. Zhe also clicked on the forum, and a bright post was posted on the homepage by the administrator. Treasured items hanging at the building sales office, requesting self-drafting. Here, trainers are all selling their gains, mostly carrying items. Only a very small portion are selling evolutionary stones, and when clicked on to view the pictures, it looks like the quality is not as good as Zhe's fire stone. Zhe also habitually flipped through to see if there were any new things for sale, and soon his eyes lit up. Sharp beak for sale, no exchange, private chat with price, Joker crawling, is a link to a post selling flying props. Zhe also remembers clearly that there was no such post a few days ago. After checking the posting time, it was just posted yesterday and it seems that it has not been sold yet. Looking at the increase effect again, it was 6%. Je also frowned slightly, no wonder. Props that increase the power of general attribute moves, such as charcoal and miracle seeds, typically have an increase effect ranging from 5% to 20%, and the price varies greatly depending on the effect. According to research, most props can increase their skill power by 10% or more, which is called normal props, while only a small portion below 10% is called incomplete props. This incomplete item with a sharp bird beak and a 6% increase cannot be said to be absolutely non-existent, it can only be said to be extremely rare. In a sense, it is also a strange thing. Anyway, Je has only seen this one in 16 years. But it's amazing, Je also let go of his brow. Anyway, this kind of prop won't go down in price, and it's difficult to buy and resell at most. Bibi bird has this thing, its strength can be a bit stronger, it can be a bit stronger, and it can be sold in the future. If the effect is better, the price will be completely different, and he can only have the same attitude towards the other props in this post. They can be viewed from afar but not obscene to play with. After all, Je doesn't have that much money reserved to buy such props. After looking at the prices below, they were all around 180W, and Je nodded slightly. This is in line with Je's expectations, as although other items with the same effect have not appeared before, items with an 8% effect have still been sold, basically in the form of less than 300W. Don't think it's exaggerated. You should know that props with a 10% effect are usually priced above 800W, and when the quantity is small, even 1000W may not be available for purchase. The price of items with strong attributes such as dragon teeth and curved spoon would have to double if they had the same effect. As for why there is only a difference of 1 or 2 percentage points in the effect, the price difference between normal props and incomplete props is more than twice, or is it because research has shown? Research data shows that normal props can effectively increase skill power by 1 level, while incomplete props can only simply increase power. What does it mean? Simply put, it means comparing two items of the same type with numbers, one increasing by 8% and the other by 10%. Assuming the skill's power is 60, the former should increase by 64.8, while the latter should increase by 66. The difference seems not significant. However, during the actual testing process, although there were no errors in the object, target, data, problems arose during the actual combat exercises. Taking the technique offset experiment as an example, while ensuring the accuracy of the data, a control experiment was conducted, which included carrying no items against carrying no items, carrying no items against carrying 8% amplification items, carrying no items against carrying 10% amplification items, and carrying 8% amplification items against carrying 10% amplification items. The results are complete cancellation, 10% increase in item carrying causing minor damage to the opponent, and 10% increase in item carrying causing minor damage to the opponent. Switching to items with a 12% increase in effect dealt damage to both non-carrying and 8% increase in item carrying, resulting in a 12% increase in item moves. The experimental results of the 12% increase effect and the 10% increase effect of the prop's move cancellation show that the former still has a little bit of energy left and basically no damage. This is very confusing. Finally, through the analysis of energy analysis by researchers, it was found that normal props not only enhance the destructive power, but also increased the power of skill levels. In layman's terms, it means that normal items change energy from another level, resulting in the increase of normal items being indistinguishable from the increase of incomplete items in terms of data, but in actual combat, they can destroy the opponent's moves. Although there are differences between normal props, they are not significant unless the amplification effect is also significantly different. The above content is from a research paper by a researcher at the Daimyo Research Institute in Jinshin Town, titled On the Different Effects of Normal and Incomplete Props on the Amplification of Moves. There is also a series of other studies, and Je knows it but doesn't know why. He understood that the effect of normal props is more than twice that of incomplete props, far higher than the data shows, so naturally the price is more than twice as expensive. After all, Je is not a student of energy science, and he doesn't really understand it. To get to the point, Je also sent a quotation message to the seller. Je also plans to spend 200,000 yuan and reserve another 400,000 yuan to buy this bird beak, although its effect is better than nothing when fighting against trainers. But it will still be much easier for Bibi bird to fight against wild Pok É Mon with it, which is beneficial for him to complete tasks and accumulate funds. Just a quick reply from the seller made Jia's face immediately turn black. Crawling, normal 1 change, end of this chapter. Chapter 7. The Joker turns out to be myself and the training Bibi bird, 3K. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. The Joker turns out to be myself and the training Bibi bird, 3K. Zheya. Is the clown actually me? Je is also completely foolish. No, that's not a problem. Incomplete items don't have such high value, and they still have a 6% effect. Flight props are not as popular either, with a reasonable price of 200,000 yuan, even slightly higher. Je was also somewhat puzzled and sent a series of question marks to the seller, wanting to ask what the situation was. Before the seller could reply, Je saw that the post had already been updated. Sold, 2800W. Je is also a good guy. Do you still have XX, automatic blocking, spending so much money on a useless item? This is not treating money as money. Je also expressed envy, sourness, and disbelief. At this point, the seller also replied to Jia's message. Sorry brother, you were just too excited. Are you a trainer? The price of 200,000 yuan is considered high among trainers, but 2 collectors just came up to buy it. The 2 of them bid directly for 2,800 yuan, sorry. This person is quite polite, Je also thought to himself. After reading the seller's response, Je also roughly understood what was going on. Pok É Mon collectors are a group of people who enjoy collecting various special elves or related rare items, most of whom are wealthy individuals. Because money has nothing to show off, one can only prove their strength by collecting more precious things. It is said that they usually gather mainly to show off their collections, and the rarer they are, the more they are praised. However, Je also didn't consider it. A 6% effect incomplete item, although it may seem tasteless to trainers and a pity to discard it, is extremely rare and valuable for a group like collectors. Je also gave a bitter smile, but he wasn't too disappointed. Originally, he was just trying his best to see if he could buy it, but unexpectedly, he killed 2 collectors halfway and used money to pressure people. It's not bad if he didn't buy it, at least he saved 200,000 and can increase efforts to cultivate Bibi birds. Je also thought angrily in his heart, if I have so much money in the future, should play like this. But isn't it good to have so much money to cultivate elves? Why buy this thing? Je still can't understand the thinking patterns of wealthy people. Je also calmed down for a moment, flipped through the entire post bar again, and found that it was either a purchasing post or a promotional post. For example, this one. Fire-type elves are all spicy chickens, don't accept to argue. Je also clicked in to take a look, and below were indeed a lot of curses. Do you match? Do you have any fire-type Pok É Mon? Poor B. Indeed spicy chicken, but it's just a common 4 series of hanging grass, steel worms, and ice, laughing to death. You 1s1, aren't the Spitfire dragon and the flame chicken handsome? What's wrong with their weaknesses? They have a high level of appearance, and who can't be a child at once? Dog head, reply upstairs, that's true, but I still think 9 tails is a bit stronger, and 6 tails has a gentle personality. The wealthy people upstairs are rare, and even the fire stone is not given much attention. They are admiring it. Je also looked at it and suddenly realized something was wrong. This curses, and the following reply begins to discuss which fire-type Pok É Mon are better, constantly providing evidence to theoretically explain the cultivability of each fire-type Pok É Mon. Je also realized that the person posting this is fishing. Invalid water patch. Does anyone know which fire-type elf is suitable for cultivation? Reply below. No, not suitable, expensive, not in the early stage. Effective water sticker. Fire-type Pok É Mon are all spicy chicken, I'm not convinced to argue. Je also studied it and found that it was mostly common content and viewpoints. After a moment of boredom, Je also closed the forum. Opening the video section, Je also looked at the message prompt and found that yesterday's latest Quartz conference final video and several videos of trainers he followed had been updated. After paying for them all, he watched them with great interest in order. Just 5 videos cost Je 1000 Alliance coins, but for a conductor who can learn from excellent trainers, Je doesn't feel any pain at all. Not to mention that he occasionally looks at the research papers of researchers, even more so for those with 5,000 without explanation. These are all necessary expenses. There was nothing to say overnight. In the early morning, a gentle wind blew by, sweeping the entire city of Joban with the fresh scent of Joban forest. The rising sun in the distance appears particularly gentle, symbolizing the arrival of a new day. At this time, it was the time for spring and summer socializing, and the weather was quite cool. Je was also wearing a black sleeveless top in the backyard for daily physical exercise. A qualified trainer/bounty hunter must have good physical fitness in order to have a chance of survival in the most dangerous times. This is the experience that Je has gained through his life over the years. The face of Jian Mei Xing, as well as the sharp and angular figure displayed through his clothes, constantly emitted hot sweat, which also wet Ye's brown hair. Je also finished the last set of exercises, took a long breath, took the towel hanging around his neck, and wiped his sweat. Release Bibi bird casually and say, Bibi bird, you can move freely for a while. If you're hungry, eat some fruit first, and I'll take a shower. The released Bibi bird responded with a sound from its trainer, and its wings shook as it flew into the sky. Je also walked into the room and started taking a shower. After taking a shower, Je also wiped his hair and walked out. Wearing only a pair of light blue casual shorts, Je, who was naked with a robust body, also showed his unique charm as a teenager. Putting on his hoodie, Je also walked outside the house. At this moment, Bibi bird had already returned and was staying on the tree branches in the backyard. Bibi bird saw his trainer walk out and waved his wings to say hello. Good morning. Good morning. Today's training is about to begin, Je replied with a smile. Bibi bird waved its wings to indicate that it was ready. So the first step is to warm up first. Today, it's still 120 miles, meeting at the old place. Je also took out his load and said to Bibi bird. Bibi bird obediently flew to Jia's side and asked Jia to install the weight-bearing equipment on him. Fixed the equipment, Bibi bird spread its wings and flew into the sky to start today's first training. Je also stretched lazily and slowly ran behind him. 120 miles is actually just a normal distance for the current Bibi bird. After all, the territory of wild Bibi birds can reach 60 miles. Jia's Bibi bird currently only takes about 25 minutes to complete the warm-up with weight. If there is no weight, this time can be reduced to 15 minutes. Evolutionary forms will be even more exaggerated than eagles, even wild eagles can have a speed close to Mach 2, and Je is also looking forward to how fast his birds will evolve. As for whether Bibi bird will be lazy. In this world, the idea of Pok É Mon becoming stronger is engraved in genes, and it is unlikely to happen. Moreover, Je and Zero can effectively display the training results through data analysis. So there's no need to worry. For Je, without sweating during this time, he could run slowly and run 6 or 7 kilometers to the place where he trains for Bibi bird in his daily routine. Don't think it's exaggerated. After all, the physical fitness of Pok É Mon world is basically at the monster level, not to mention that She has always insisted on actively exercising. This distance is just casual for Ji. Breathing fresh air, She also jogged all the way to his daily training place. This place is close to the junction of Changban Forest and Changban City, but it is very remote, surrounded by dense trees. Ji also stretched his body in place and waited for a while. Bibi bird called and landed on the open ground. Alright, the warm-up is over, and the next step is flexibility training. Ji also stepped forward to help Bibi bird remove the weight. Still the same, let's move quickly in the jungle ahead with high speed. Ji waved his hand and didn't wait for Bibi bird to rest for a while before starting the next round of practice. Ji was also very aware of Bibi bird's endurance. Bibi bird is also very conscious, and as soon as he takes off the load, he skillfully starts the next training. I saw a yellow shadow darting rapidly through the jungle, occasionally colliding with a tree trunk due to its fast speed. It quickly readjusted and continued to fly. Ji also took out his computer and constantly modified the data based on Bibi bird's condition. 1 hour later, alright, we can take a break. Ji also called out to stop Bibi bird, who had become a bit slow. Bibi bird panted and landed next to Ji. Ji also took out some wound medicine and sprayed a little on the area where Bibi bird touched. Let's take a break and then move on to the next training. Bibi bird looked at his trainer with a gloomy expression. Although he was used to it, fatigue was still inevitable. Ji also smiled and took out the grapefruit he had with him to give to Bibi bird. Bibi bird's eyes lit up and he quickly ate it. When Yugua is a variant of orange fruit, and the difference in taste between the two is not significant. However, the former has a better effect on restoring energy and is more expensive. I made a big profit yesterday, otherwise Ji wouldn't have given Bibi bird grapefruit. Usually, most of the time he eats orange fruits to recover. After finishing the grapefruit, it was almost time for Bibi bird to start the next training. Until noon, the sun hung in the air, and the bright sunlight made it difficult for people to open their eyes. It was only then that Ji made the Bibi bird completely stop. When he returned home, Ji didn't care about his hungry self. He first prepared lunch for Bibi bird according to the zero plan based on the morning training. This training was truly meaningful, otherwise it was just a simple consumption. When Bibi bird started eating, Ji also walked into the kitchen and took out the steak from the refrigerator to start frying and grilling. Soon, Ji also walked to the table with a plate filled with steak and a glass of milk in his right hand, and began to eat his own lunch. This morning, Ji also spent over 10,000 alliance coins, including the milk in the big milk can he drank, of course, only 500 alliance coins. Big Head is still focused on supplementing the nutrition of Bibi birds. In the afternoon, it was a battle training session, and Ji and Bibi continued to challenge the trainers and their elves in the battlefield of the Elf Center, occasionally replying to Miss Joey. At night, go to the mall to purchase various items, enjoy dinner, and the day's training is considered over. So I spent 2 weeks calmly, and Bibi bird's level successfully rose to level 36. At the same time, Ji, who had finished training, also looked at his rapidly shrinking wallet with a bitter smile. 2 days for 3K, tomorrow is also the same. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Cleaning Tasks and Variables, 3K. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Cleaning Tasks and Variables, 3K. In less than half a month, Ji also successfully spent 500,000 Union coins. Having spent all the extra profits before, Ji also spent so much money in one go for the first time. Of course, the result is good, as the speed of upgrading to level 36 for Bibi bird is more than twice that of normal cultivation before, without spending 500,000 alliance coins. Ji also had a premonition that Bibi birds may only be one step away from evolution now. Just looking at the computer in front of me, whether it is the data analyzed by myself, the data provided by Zero, or the cultivation plan, it shows that the progress of Bibi bird has basically stopped so far. Je also thinks that there may be something missing. After all, the evolution of elves is a magical process, and no one knows how to successfully evolve. It could be a lack of energy, a lack of combat stimulation, or the influence of the elf subjective will, and so on. So let's go ahead and do some tasks to earn some money, and wait for the opportunity to come. Je is also very calm. It's not easy to evolve into a Bibi eagle, even if its Bibi bird has unparalleled qualifications among its peers. Moreover, so many Bibi birds in the world have not evolved successfully. It's useless to be anxious. Many trainers and seniors on the forum give their experiences, and solutions in the book are just natural. Some elves evolve while eating, some naturally evolve during training, and some evolve after a difficult battle, all of which have precedence. Anyway, Je is also full of confidence in himself, compared to birds, at least not like some elves who cannot evolve to their final form for months or even years. Their qualifications and investment are there. Je also took Bibi bird to the elf center to reply and resolve the lunch of one person, one pet at the elf center. He casually collected the Bibi bird into the Poké ball, and Je walked towards the nearby bounty hunter center to see if there were any tasks he could take to ease his financial pressure. Walking to the task hall, Je skillfully inserted his ID card into the machine port as usual and began browsing through the tasks. Task number 1978-917-0519, Task Level. Level B, Task Requirement. A newly molted Abe monster snake molting, up to 1 week, Task Reward. 25.40000 Alliance Coins, Quality verified by a dedicated person. Long-term acquisition. Task number 2879-857-9871, Task Level. Level B, Task Requirement. 50 or more large bee venom tail needles, Task Reward. 2,100 Alliance Coins per needle. Long-term acquisition of small amounts, do not disturb, Task number 6784-616-9849, Task Level. Level C, Task Requirement. 300 milliliters of stinky flower saliva, Task Reward. 3.5 W Alliance Coins. Long-term acquisition of small amounts do not disturb, Task number 6965-746-2445, Task Level. Level C, Task Requirement. Protect the suburban farm from elf harassment, at least 3 days, Task Reward. 10,000 Alliance Coins/day. Task number 7646-640-0178, Task Level. Level C, Task Requirement. 100 G Red Heart Grass, Task Reward. 4 W Alliance Coins. Countdown 1 day, Task number 7807-486-1986, Task Level. Level C, Task Requirement. Clean up the green caterpillar tribe along the Chongpan Forest Road, with the highest strength of about 4 ordinary peak butterflies, Task Reward. 70,000 Alliance Coins. Countdown to 11 hours. Most long-term tasks are too time-consuming, so for Je, the efficiency of returns is actually not as good as temporary tasks. Tasks like Abe monster snake shedding are good, but unfortunately Je cannot defeat such fierce hunters. Je also focused his attention on the 2 temporary tasks he saw as his favorite. After some thought, Je also took on the second cleaning task. Because such a population is just right for Bibi birds to deal with, the first task, although simple, is time-consuming and cost-effective. Je also wants to see the progress of Bibi bird these days. Although it can be seen from the data and the battles with trainers, it is ultimately not as intuitive as the intense battles in the wild. Unfortunately, tasks at the same level as hunters can only be taken at the same time, while tasks at lower levels can be taken up to 3 at most. Otherwise, they can be easily done. Je is also accustomed to this rule, mainly to prevent one person from taking on too many tasks at the same time and leaving others with nothing to do. Why don't you collect all the data during the cleaning process? After returning and handing in the cleaning task, you can collect it and then directly submit it to play this kind of dirty operation. Well, other hunters are not silly either. There are still many people willing to take on this type of collection task. It seems like they just hung it up, so no one took it. By the time Je finished this series of actions and returned, this task would have been gone long ago. After completing the task and successfully entering the information, Je also pulled out his ID card and walked outside. Because I carry various injury medicines and props with me during morning training, there is no need to prepare them specifically. Je also opened his elf watch, and the activity location of the mission target has been transmitted to his personal map. Keep walking along the main road and soon arrive at the approximate location of the green caterpillar population. Je also hid behind the tree and observed the location and quantity of these magical treasures. The bod of Phalaenopsis was collecting nectar. This should be a recent migration, and this location is indeed too close to the road, making it easy to attack passers-by, Je also analyzed. Don't think that bod Dai has a gentle personality. The wings of bod Dai are covered with highly toxic scale powder that can bounce water droplets. When bod Dai forcefully vibrates its wings, the scale powder will scatter into the air, and if inhaled, it will feel uncomfortable. Sometimes other powders can also be mixed in, which may cause drowsiness or paralysis. This is not a good thing. The threat of Pok É Mon to the human body is still very great, and even a slight mistake can lead to loss of life. Je also released a Bibi bird and made a gesture. Bibi bird understood and flew into the air, circling. Je also used the number 0 to observe the information of the entire population, which was similar to the task given. Only 3 bod butterflies were at the peak of their normal strength. Je also frowned and unexpectedly appeared. One bod Dai 0 gave a judgment that it was an elite, and it was estimated that one bod Dai had just broken through. After all, its potential happens to be at the only elite level, which is not surprising, but for Je, this is a bit troublesome. If it were just 4 ordinary peak butterflies, even with more than 20 optional green caterpillars and armored pupae to harass, Bibi birds would be enough to cope. Je also wants to give up this task a bit. He can't take on any more tasks for at least 3 days. After all, it's not as easy to solve the problem of Bibi bird when paired with a newly entered elite bod butterfly and 3 ordinary peak bod butterflies. Je also frowned. If it weren't for the significant improvement in Bibi bird's strength, Je would never have dared to take on such a task before breaking through the elite. The variables were too great. This mission happened to collide with an elite-level wild butterfly. Speaking of which, this is also the first time Je has encountered such a strong wild elf, still in such a peripheral area near Changban City. I calculated in my heart that even an elite-level bod Dai can sell for 100,000 yuan on the black market. If this bod Dai can still remember, it can be sold directly for 200,000 yuan. Je also gritted his teeth and did it. Although there is danger, there is a great chance that the enemy is in the dark and we are in the dark. If we find an opportunity to take down the 2 bod butterflies first, there is a great chance. Je first withdrew a distance and called Bibi bird back to his side. One person, one elf, cautiously walked around this tribe, constantly searching for opportunities to take action. The 4 butterflies were unaware that a hunter was secretly watching them, leisurely collecting nectar. Going further and further, for bod butterflies are gathering their food in pairs, and the distance between them is constantly widening. Zheyi and Bibi Niao quietly followed behind the 2 ordinary peak strength bod Dais. Seeing that the other 2 butterflies were no longer in sight, Je decisively commanded Bibi bird to come forward. Flash of lightning as you approach, then use your wings to attack and make quick decisions. Yes, after training, Bibi bird successfully mastered wing attacks with extraordinary power. I saw the Bibi bird crash into the two butterflies with a faint light and lightning speed, knocking them down to the ground. Then the Bibi bird made a nimble turn in the air, vibrating its wings. White energy gathered on both wings, and then launched an attack on the butterfly. At this moment, Dottie finally got up from the attack just now. Still struggling to flap its wings, Bibi bird unfolded its large wings, carrying enormous kinetic energy and the energy of the flight system on its wings, shuttling through two butterfly-like butterflies. Bang! Two big butterflies were directly fanned by the Bibi bird. Je also showed no mercy, moving at high speed, the impact completely cut them off. Bibi bird immediately activated her skills, her entire body becoming lighter, and she quickly collided with two butterflies that were no longer able to stand up. Bang! Bang! Two dull sounds rang out in succession. The two butterflies didn't even have the opportunity to release their skills to resist, and they completely lost their combat ability and fell into a coma. Je also looked at the dazzling movements of Bibi bird and nodded with great satisfaction. Wing attack can be considered as filling a part of Bibi bird's current shortcomings. Although it was fast before, there were not many attack moves. The preparation time for the tornado is too long, and the other damages are not as high, making it difficult to quickly resolve the battle. So last time Je also encountered the hornet, he had to fight and retreat, constantly consuming. If it were for now, combined with wing attacks, he could easily deal with 5 out of 6 hornets around level 20. Je also threw out the Poké ball and took in 2 butterflies, which was one of the vouchers for the mission. Putting the shrunken Pok É Mon ball into his backpack, Je also fed Bibi bird an orange fruit to recover his lost stamina, and quietly returned to the nest of the butterfly tribe. Now there is only one elite level butterfly and an ordinary peak butterfly left. Je patiently waited for them to return home, ready to seize the right moment and deliver a fatal blow. The power of the moves is not entirely based on the game data. After all, it is somewhat awkward for a tornado with a power of 40 and a collision with a power of 50. Although it is a difference between group attacks and individual attacks, it is set with a dragon attribute. For greater power, it requires energy accumulation, and because of the dragon attribute, it can cause enemies to fall into a state of fear. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Evolution. Pidgeot. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Evolution. Pidgeot soon, the other 2 butterflies will come back. Je also saw from a distance through his good eyesight that Dottie was returning home. He whispered to Bibi bird and slowly began to retreat. I saw the Bibi bird constantly flapping its wings in the air, the wind getting stronger and stronger. At first, there were only 2 small whirlwinds between the wings, but as the Bibi bird accumulated its power, the size of the whirlwind began to grow, forming 2 violent winds. This is not over yet, as the wings close and exert force, the 2 winds gradually mix together. As soon as the Bibi bird's wings spread out, 2 tornadoes roared towards the butterfly, completely merging in the air and turning into a raging tornado. The textual description of this scene is very slow, but in reality, the entire process only took more than 3 seconds. The 2 butterflies just realized that the tornado's wind was making them unable to move and could only forcefully entangle themselves in it. The strong wind howled and sand and dust filled the sky. After a while, the dust and smoke dissipated. Je also fixed his eyes and saw that the ordinary level Dottie had passed out on the ground, while the elite level Dottie was panting heavily, with a lingering purple light on her body that had not yet faded. Je's eyes flickered, indicating the energy fluctuations of his psychic powers. This butterfly indeed mastered his psychic powers. Without time to feel happy about it, Je quickly instructed Bibi bird, flash the lightning and rush up, be careful to avoid the powder. Bibi bird collided with with a faint light, and of course wouldn't just sit there waiting to die. It even feels a bit inexplicable to this day, as a human carrying a Bibi bird suddenly attacked its population and it was also severely damaged. But it's not about combat. The wild instinct made Ba-Dufu shake out a pile of purple powder and scatter it towards the Bibi bird, while his body struggled to dodge backwards. Bibi bird drew a circular arc in the air, used the wind to blow it away and dodged the attack of poisonous powder, directly hitting Ba-Dadi. Ba-Dadi let out a scream, but did not give up struggling. The two antennae on the head of the Bada butterfly emit a bright purple light that acts on the body of the Bibi bird, which is a chanting move. Bibi bird only felt a tightness on her body and couldn't move. Try to spin your body to break free, then use your wings to attack. Je remained calm and commanded Bibi bird to proceed with the next attack. The control of Ba-Dadi's mental power is just a dying struggle, and the strength can only control Bibi bird's short time. As soon as the Bibi bird exerted force to rotate its body, the Bada butterfly couldn't control it. After the Bibi bird broke free from its psychic power, its wings emitting white light directly struck the body of Ba-Dadi. Bang! Ba-Dadi was knocked to the ground and lost her combat ability. Je also ran over and quickly threw the Pok É Mon ball to Ba-Dadi. Without any struggle, this psychic Ba-Dadi was included in it. Je also breathed a sigh of relief. This is walking for 200 watts. Put the other Bada butterfly into the Pok É ball with ease, and even if the task is roughly completed this time, just grab a regular Bada butterfly to replace the one who knows how to recite. Let's take care of your extra meal. Je smiled as he watched Bibi bird, who was only slightly tired after the battle. Although Bibi bird's progress was within Jia's expectations, his performance this time still surprised Jia. Mastering the skill of wing attack makes the entire combat style of Bibi bird more reasonable, and there is no need to worry about the lack of close-range attack methods. Before attacking without wings, even if you choose to fight in this way, you will eventually have to rely on lightning flashes to slowly grind because there is no deadly attack method. This is not only inefficient, but also more likely to cause injuries than birds, and it won't be as easy as it is now. Je also looked at Bibi bird, who was heading to the green caterpillar tribe to enjoy his own meal, and smiled like an old father. Soon, Bibi bird solved the problem of adding meals, but of course, most of the green caterpillars ran away, and Je was too lazy to take care of them. For Bada butterflies have been recaptured, and the remaining green caterpillars are all beginners, ordinary, and even juveniles with the strength and potential to survive here. They will either be eliminated by other little elves or find a new tribe to live in. Anyway, the task only requires clearing this area to be completed. I have done it before, and Je is also familiar with it. Je also casually found a single ordinary level Bada butterfly with Bibi bird in the Evergreen forest, and easily solved the income in the Pok É Mon ball, preparing to return and hand in the task. Just as Je was about to put away the Bibi bird and start his journey back, white light suddenly began to emerge from its body, then covering its entire body. Je also widened his eyes. This is more evolution than birds. Although he had imagined various situations of evolution, Je never expected evolution to come so suddenly. As he was about to embark on his final journey back, he was pleasantly surprised. Je also nervously looked at the already white light. Quickly, the white light dissipated, and a handsome Baijiao appeared in front of Jia. The shape of the eagle is very similar to that of the bird, but it is larger in size, wider in wingspan, and shorter in claws, like an eagle. Brown feathers, paired with a creamy body. The feathers on the top of the head are red on both sides and yellow in the middle, so they can float in the air and appear particularly imposing. Gorgeous wings not only serve as a deterrent, but also create huge storms, and their eyes exude a royal aura. Je also excitedly hugged Baijiao and said, "Well done, Baijiao." Baijiao also responded to the owner's joy with a cry. Je also asked Baijiao to guard by his side, calling out the panel of 0. Compared to sculpture, category. Bird Pok É Mon attribute. General/flight height. 1.85 m, average of 1.5 m, weight. 45 kilograms, average 39.5 kilograms, feature. Sharp gaze, thanks to the sharp gaze, the hit rate will not be reduced. Hidden feature. Strong chest muscles, not affected by reduced defense, and spirits with this feature will be stronger than their peers. Skills. Impact, cry, peck, sand sweeping, wind blowing, flash of lightning, flying, feather dance, high speed movement, tornado, genetic, wing attack, feather habitat, air slash, shadow clone, swallow return level. 38, elite, potential. Heavenly King cultivation plan. It is recommended to conduct targeted reinforcement training on the wings of the Pok É Mon, massage and relax after weight training. Specific techniques are as follows: suggest enhancing reaction speed, supplemented with nerve agents, formula as follows. 30g Kingling KO, suggests strengthening bone strength, supplemented by a bone strengthening recipe, with the following formula. 20g of Galagalagala stick bone, 50g of milk in a large milk can. She also looked at the panel, excitedly speechless. Bijiao evolved from Bye Bird, and his body size and strength can be said to have undergone a earth-shattering change. Stop short. Seeking collection, recommendation, and investment happy and joyful, you can sign the first time you write it. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Powerful Comparison and Entanglement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Powerful Comparison and Entanglement. The most intuitive thing is that the level has directly increased by 2 levels, probably because it has absorbed the energy remaining in the body during the previous cultivation. Secondly, there is a change in body shape. Good cultivation and outstanding potential also make the eagle much higher than the average level of its peers. The strong chest muscles make the eagle look very robust and weigh far more than its peers. Now standing on the ground, Bijiao is slightly taller than Zhe, not to mention being able to directly wrap Zhe inside after spreading his wings, appearing extremely huge and imposing. Finally, Bijiao mastered 4 new skills. Feather Dwelling, Air Slash, Shadow Clone, and Swallow Return. It can be said that each skill is extremely crucial for improving the strength of the eagle. Feather Dwelling can restore health and eliminate flying attributes. If necessary, it can be used to reduce the herd damage of the electrical system. Air Slash, on the other hand, uses wings to wield the air blade. It is a medium to long-range attack with considerable power, making up for the lack of attack power and insufficient 3-dimensional attack range compared to Eagle. Shadow Clone is an excellent move that disrupts the opponent's evasion skills, let alone Yan Hui. With various skills and training, Bijiao's massive body will engage in combat with incredible agility, leaving the enemy overwhelmed. Zhe also made a preliminary estimate that the current Bibi bird, which had not evolved before, has only been upgraded by 2 levels, but it is estimated that a dozen to 4 or 5 would be easy. Zhe also restrained his excitement. After all, Bijiao had just evolved and still needed to go to the Elf Center for a comprehensive inspection. Although there is 0 data available, it is still a precaution. Zhe also hurriedly collected Bijiao into the Pok É Mon ball and ran all the way towards the center of the Pok É Mon. Hello Yumu trainer, your elf has completed the examination and everything is normal. It is also developing exceptionally well. Congratulations on finally evolving into a Bijiao. Joey congratulated Zheya with a sweet smile, and after confirming his identity, he handed Zheya the Pok É Mon ball containing the statue. Zhe also smiled at Joey and said, "Thank you, Miss Joey, for your hard work." Joey smiled and nodded, indicating no need to be polite, and Zhe immediately turned around and left. Joey looked at Zheyi who had gone far away, then looked at his identity information and casually made a simple mark. After all, in the records of the Joey family, Pok É Mon, once they can evolve to their final form, have the potential to break through to become quasi-heavenly kings. This means that even without talent, Zhe can at least become a senior elite trainer in the future by relying solely on comparison and carving. If luck is a bit higher than the potential of carving, the future will be even stronger. Moreover, Jia is very young and was born as an orphan. After nurturing Bobo for over a year, he evolved into a bi-eagle. Not only is he lucky, but he is also a trainer genius. In addition, when Joey checked, he found that the beacon was taken care of very well, indicating that Jo also had talent in nurturing the family, and Joey appreciated Jo's attitude towards the elves in the same way. Even for ordinary people born as orphans, Jo, taking into account all the above factors, has a high chance of becoming a quasi-king or even an impact king. People with the potential of being kings are naturally worth keeping good records for future investments, even if the probability is not high. Joey just finished the family's task effortlessly and turned around to get busy. Jo was completely unaware that Joey had already marked him as a potential trainer, and at that moment, he was still calculating his gains. I've been really lucky lately. I've made a lot of money from this mission again, Jo sighed. After submitting the task, he did not immediately receive the task benefits and would need to wait for about 2 hours to receive them. For this cleaning task, the Hunter Center not only recycles designated leader elves, but also sends people to investigate, which takes time to come and go. At the beginning, this kind of loophole also appeared. Someone casually grabbed a few requested elves and handed them over as the leader. Later, it was discovered that there was no cleaning at all, and since then, it has become necessary for a dedicated person to confirm. However, Jo has already finished cleaning up, so he remains calm and waits for the sound of the transfer. However, first of all, Jo also needs to go to the black market and sell the newly captured Badadi who knows how to read, which is the biggest profit this time. Wearing the same black robe, Jo entered the black market and rented a temporary booth for 1 hour at the black market management office, worth 1,000 Union coins. Although Jo is not poor, he still feels sorry for it. It's really expensive. Don't think it strange that there is a black market and a management office. After all, this kind of transaction that cannot be exposed on the surface requires more order. Moreover, it is very profitable, and many families do not even have the strength to do it. Hurry up and walk to the booth. Jo also took out the elf ball containing Bada die and placed it on the table. On a wooden board attached next to it, he wrote, Bada die, elite level, master the ability to recite. The one with the highest bidding price in 1 hour will get it, and the bottom price will be 120W. Be concise and concise. Although Jo has not actually sold it, he has often come to the black market to browse during his free time in recent years, and he still knows the basic situation. Elite Buddhas like this who have the ability to think are not common in the black market, and auctions are the solution to maximize profits. Jie Lao Shen sat behind the stall, waiting for the arrival of wealthy people. Soon, Jia's booth caught the attention of others. One black-robed person after another skillfully left prices in front of the booth. 122W, 125W, 130W, 132W. In just half an hour, the price skyrocketed to 160W. Half an hour later, Jia returned the booth from the black market management office with a smile on his face and returned to his own home. Booyah! As soon as he arrived home, Jia couldn't suppress his excitement and started cheering. 220W, this is the final price. Jia had originally planned to sell for around 200,000 yuan, possibly around 190,000 yuan, but he didn't expect to sell for a high price of 22,000 yuan. Jia also sat on the sofa and laughed as he watched his balance. At this point, the 70,000 alliance coins for the cleaning task have also been received, and Jia's heart has not fluctuated at all, small money. Jia also began to expand a bit, and this dazzling number was as intuitive as the fire stone. However, I quickly calmed down. After all, this amount of money, combined with my previous savings, was just over 400,000 yuan. Not enough to buy 1/5 of a small dragon egg. Jia also restrained himself and began to calculate. Originally, Jia did not plan to cultivate a second elf now, but after making this windfall and evolving into a sculpture, Jia's plan can be advanced. Because in this way, even if he exchanges the money from selling firestone for elf eggs, He still has enough savings and strength to cultivate the next elf, forming a virtuous cycle. The question now is, which Pok É Mon should he choose as his second Pok É Mon? After finishing dinner for himself and Baijiao, Zhe slowly walked upstairs and began to think. Which one should I choose? PS, starting next week, it will be 4,000 for regular 2 shifts and 6,000 for weekend 2 shifts. The time will be postponed until around October 15th at night for updates. Also, genetic skills are not strictly classified according to egg laying and egg groups here. After all, there is still a difference between the real world and games, laughs. And there is also no introduction of the concept of skill machines. Simply put, it means that skills can be mastered as the level increases, or by finding an elf who knows a certain skill to guide them for a period of time. If there is talent and the possibility of learning, as long as it is reasonable, we can hope that some game players do not dwell on why Bobo can inherit tornadoes. After all, sometimes reality is unreasonable. End of this chapter.